Okay, folks, welcome back to Funny Fella Trader. I just thought I'd do a quick rundown on a gold trade that I've done today. Nothing big. Being truthfully honest, I was at a wedding over the weekend. My nephews. Um, being Irish, we had a few pints, and my head is a wee bit worse for wear. Even though this is Tuesday, the 14th of March, 2023. Being 40 years of age, it doesn't. The hangovers last a wee bit longer than anybody would want them to at this stage. But we're here, we've done a wee trade, and I'll just quickly run through why I done it and where I went in and why I went out. So, just starting here, looking on the daily, as you can see, the market has been in a little bit of a upward trend since November, and we've started to come down, and we broke these lows. So I was ultimately looking for sells really. Also, reason being is um, it just made more sense. Just because if I just take a look at this void here, so I'll just put two rays on it. So from here to here, there's actually a void in the market on the daily, and I like to see voids usually getting filled. Now, here is also why I was decided I look for sales today, because this is also a void in the market, and I just feel like we've run up into this here. I'll probably see it better in 4 hour. Yeah, we've run up into this here, into what I classify as a order block. So the market came back up into this, and it couldn't push through it as of today, which I'm kind of shocked at, because CPI news was released, and inflation. So with that, usually with an increase in inflation, believe it or not, it strengthens the currency, um, but a decrease weakens it. So this is why we've had a wee bit of a choppy day, and CPI hasn't really moved much. But um, my main reason, truthfully, for selling, to just explain why, is because we've run up into this order block. If I pull the fib from this high down to this low, we have come into the 705 perfectly almost. And the other reason, just zooming in a bit closer, is this void in the market from last week's Friday opening to Sunday night. We've had this void, and usually I'd say the market likes to come down, I feel, into voids and fill them nearly all the time from what I can witness or have seen. So that's why I decided, what, I'm going to wait. So here you can see it a wee bit better. I'm going to wait for a moment. I says when it lines up with the DAXI, the USD currency index, then I will see if I can get a sell. So we have come back up, filled up this void. Market did start to break down, and at that moment, I decided I was going to wait for something. Just going to clean this up. Something in the market, going in the 50 minute, it'll give me an idea of when we might see some sort of rundown. Now, this was the CPI. It spiked and worked about, and it looks messy, which it is. So nothing really stood out in my mind, although this breakdown did after CPI. But I wanted to see the market come back up in, and it did retrace into this fair value. But I did not enter until this candle here, till this breakdown. And why did I not enter to this breakdown? And again, I'll revert back to the DAXA in just a moment. So here we have the breakdown. It breaks these lows, leaves this void, and that is where I aim to enter on the market, because that was the market telling me it is going to break down a little. So once we got a pull back into this, that's when I decided to enter, and I left my stop loss just above there. I went for a 1-to-1, which I got. So another thing, and that's to say, I kind of like using this tool because it gives me an idea of where the best place is to enter the fixed volume indicator. And if you see, it almost lines up with that void. Maybe probably a bit further, maybe different. So it almost lines up with that void. So that's ultimately where I thought, you know what, when we enter this area, if we enter this area again, that is where I'm going to take a short, because we have had this low broken, a nice strongish candle, a nice push away again, and then the retracement. Now I do believe it is only up in the 50%, but when that lines up with the fixed volume indicator, and that just gives me an idea where to enter. It's not something I completely rely on. I just think it's a good spot to be. Instead of saying to myself, I could enter in this fair value gap here, but if the fixed volume indicator is just a bit higher, then why not enter here and lining up with the void? So that's what I decided to do. Now, if you look also, all this liquidity is here. This is a good area to aim for. This void's also a good area to aim for. But having a slight hangover, I decided I'm just going to go for something a wee bit closer to home, if that makes sense. So looking on the deck, say, this is where the mark came back down in. And this candle here was a good push and broke this also. So it couldn't come quite down into here and take out these lows again. And it run into this fair value gap here. So for me, that was my moment to enter. And bear in mind, US dollar was going down at the time, but gold wasn't exactly rising. It was just barely reaching. So when I took out these highs, they actually lined up into this fair value gap. We got a good reaction out. I just waited until this pulled back in, which was 11:37. So where's 11:37 on this candle? Sorry, that's 2 minutes. That's probably why. 11:37. So not dropped down in, and it didn't break this low. That's when I decided that was my moment. That was my candle to enter on. And if we did see a push up, I was actually going to leave. I was actually going to use this, let's say, this tiny, tiny fair value gap. And this candle's low, this candle's high. That truly was going to be my shut off point, because it is the midway point of this candle also. So ultimately, I don't think I will let my trade go any further than this. But as I said, a few minutes had passed. This lovely candle just pushed down. And the moment that candle pushed down away, I moved my stop loss to entry. And within a few minutes, I actually used this low as a point to aim for. And I used this void here as another spot. And also this one, bear in mind. So once we got these three candles pushed through, that was it. I shut the trade and let it go at that. As a 1-to-1 trade, made 0.5% today. Didn't risk too much, trying to get a feeling in for it again, and just chipping away back at the count. As I say in my last video, I have went into some withdrawal, not or drawdown. Sorry, not anything mad, but just making silly mistakes, and I've had to hold myself accountable for them. And the only way to do that is record trade as if you're going to record and put it out to the world, because then you'll think to yourself, this would be a stupid trade if I showed anybody. This isn't so stupid. It worked in nicely. I could have went for, aimed for down here to take out these lows, which would have been a nice target, but moving, or the shape I'm in, not the shape I'm in, like you think you're sounding like an alcoholic, but the the head frame I'm in right now, I'm just trying to get my feeling back for the market again. I just thought this was a good entry. And yeah, I think it's my first gold trade I've posted up. So say if I look over here now, I don't have barely anything now, just actually gold, Euro USD, GBP USD. And I've actually found it easier to trade having a couple more to choose from, because other days I get frustrated waiting on GU for setup, and at least I can flick to EU or gold and find my feet or trade setup in one of them. So that's my trade for the day, and I hope that's maybe helped somebody, and not so much explaining why I took the trade, but why you should use DAXA as a means of getting an confluence. Because as you can see, the first time this did push up, it did take out this high, and it built up liquidity here, done a fake out, came back down, took out these lows, and that candle lined up with the run into my wee void here, and that's what made me take the trade. And only risking 0.5%, so why not? But once we got this nice push away, yeah, I felt pretty good that that was the trade was going to be over, and left some sort of profit today. So thanks again for listening. Hope it didn't bore you too much, and have a great day. Ciao.